All right. What's up? What's up? Whoa. Okay, I did it in the video already. What's up, guys? It's Mars for Teachable Marshall. Today, okay. Today we are live in the hood. Oh shoot! Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. Sorry, my hair is cutting. Yeah. Oh frick. Hold on. Oh shoot! I accidentally turned off. I turned off live chat on accident. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that, but see if I could. How can I know how to put it up? Hold on. There we go. I got live chat up. Hold on now. I can't see it though for some reason. It says something went wrong. Yeah, there you go. Y'all can chat now. So I did not realize I accidentally turned it off. But today we're gonna do college football teams tier list. I realized I did this a few years ago, and I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I put Miami, Ohio in F squared because they ripped off Miami. Which yes, that is. I will say two universities with the same names a little weird, but who cares? FBS teams tier list. Search this damn thing up. Illinois with the score. I'm watching Tennessee, Illinois, and then after this is USC, TCU. Let's see. This website's being buggy AF. Sorry, guys. Is Tiermaker down right now? Hold on. Oh. There we go. FBS. All right, guys, we'll give it a second. Let's just watch this Illinois Tennessee game while this in loads. Oh, finally. 2025. There we go. Perfect. I found the right one. Oh, all right, first down goal. Allmeyer, oh, he gets sacked. What about the flip? He tried to ran him, and that did not go very well. Although they should probably waste some clock because, well, Tennessee might call timeout. Yeah, they call timeout. They should probably waste some clock because they're in field goal range to win. Yeah. I'm not SEC has not been great in bowl games so far. Like Texas A&M lost, Oklahoma lost, Granted was Alabama, but still. Those are playoff games. And LSU lost. Who was the other team that lost? Oh, it was Missouri, Tennessee. Yeah. It is true, huh? Oh, Lord. Vanderbilt plays tomorrow. They'll probably beat Iowa if I had to guess. Anyways, yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this tier list, shall we? Yay! What the frick? What the fiend? Should probably not be sharing audio. Hold on. They're just gonna kneel it. Alright. Yeah, I guess he was just trying to get it within where the field goal kick should be, which makes sense. Um. Anyways, let's do this. I realized I made a tier list of this 2023, and I don't know why. That's and it was kind of a weird tier list. Yeah. Anyways, let's freaking do this. Shall we? We're gonna go through all these teams. We'll try to go quickly as possible through these teams. Let's start with Air Force. Air Force definitely had potential. Their defense wasn't great. I mean, they had some potential on offense, but overall, the defense kind of held them back. So I'm going to put them in D tier. Akron, they weren't actually a terrible team. I mean, their 5-7 is not great, but considering the circumstances, considering that they weren't even eligible for a bowl, they didn't do too bad. Honestly, I'll put them in D tier still. I'd put them above Air Force probably. See, Akron, they beat some okay team. They actually beat some respectable teams from what I can tell. Who they beat? They beat well, then scored a dang point in their first two games. I mean, they beat who they beat? They beat Central Michigan, and they also beat Buffalo and beat up UMass. The UMass those suck. They also beat Bowling Green. So yeah, so nearly beat Kent State. Kent State is actually not a terrible team this year. So there's that. Alabama isn't very good this year. I mean, they're basically back to like in the playoffs. I mean, I would say they're back at Saban levels by any means, but they're still a great team. I'll put them in A tier. Appalachian State. I mean, they weren't great. I mean, they got smoked in their bowl game. Yeah, but they're lucky even being a bowl game. So I'll put them in D tier. I'll probably put them above. I'll put them above Akron though. Arizona State. Arizona State. They definitely definitely fell off a little bit. They're still pretty good. I mean, just a lot of injuries in that team. I'll go B tier for that one. Arizona is actually a pretty dang good team this year, man. I'll tell you what. I'll put them in A tier. I'll put them behind Alabama though. Arkansas was not very good this year. I will put them in F tier. They were just not good. Actually, I'll put them in E tier because they actually have potential to win some games, but like, just never get the job done. Illinois wins the Music City Bowl. So I'm sure Squid Tard's not gonna be very happy. Yeah, Illinois wins. At least they end with on a high note. Yeah, they're actually pretty good this season. We'll say. Red Buma's definitely done a great job there. Yeah, they definitely for sure recovered. Because I remember when they got smashed by Indiana. Yeah, but they definitely recovered. They beat some good teams like USC and all who's actually playing next. Yeah. Arkansas State, they definitely had a slow start, but they got better as the season went along. Yeah, I believe they won their bowl game. Pretty sure it was against Missouri State, FBS newcomer. I'll put them. I'll put them in C tier. They definitely got better as the season went along. Army's a very weird team this year. They were very inconsistent. That's for sure. Like they started the season by losing to FCS Tarleton State on home, and then they went on the road to Kansas State and beat them. I mean, that was just a weird way to start the season. I'll put them in C. I'll put them above Arkansas State. Uh, Auburn was definitely not very good this year. I mean, they're 5-7 every year. They'll beat like one respectable team each year. I mean, who are they beating the SEC play? I'll put them in C tier. I've been to the Alamo before. Actually, I'll put them below Army. I'm not saying Auburn lose to Charleston State, but I mean, yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I was at the Alamo Dome a few months ago. I've been to Alamo Dome billions of times for marching band. Yeah. Oh shoot. Try to turn down the volume so I don't get copyrighted. So I turned on TV back there, but I'm afraid it's gonna end live streaming for me, and I've been through that before. Yeah, and by the way, Army ended their season by beating UConn. So yeah. Ball State. They're usually not that good. I'll put them in D tier. Uh, they're 4-8. Did they beat Akron? They did beat Akron. Okay, fair enough. Someone brought their dog on the sideline. That's amazing. Baylor is definitely a letdown this year. Their offense is actually pretty good. Their offense was really good, but their defense was a mess. So they beat SMU. That was their best win this year. I'll put them in C tier. I'll put them behind Auburn because they lost Auburn. Yeah. Boise State. Boise definitely had a down year this year. They weren't terrible, but like they definitely had a down year for their standards. I'll put them in B tier. Wasn't as good as last year, but I'm not terribly shocked. Boston College was not very good. I'll put them in F tier. They're just not very good. They did win an ACC game, so I'll give them credit for that. It was Syracuse. They suck. Bowling Green, they're not that good this year. They're definitely D tier. I'll put below Akron. They actually lose to Ball State. I'll give them credit. They beat Liberty. I'll give them that. Liberty wasn't very good this year, though. They didn't even play Ball State. Fair enough. Buffalo was definitely a letdown this year. I'll put them in D tier. They almost let UMass beat them, so I'm pretty sure Akron beat them. So just Buffalo definitely like choked a lot of games this year, or at least that one against Troy. But yeah, because they had definitely potential. It's just they put all their games very close. I'll put below Akron because they lost to Akron. BYU is a very good team this year. I mean, they made it to the Big 12 championship. They won the Pop Tarts Bowl. I'll put them in A tier in front of Arizona. But Arizona had a huge bounce back here. So. Cal was actually not a terrible team. They were inconsistent at points. Like they beat Minnesota, and then the very next game they beat Cal. I mean, no, they got shut out by San Diego State. Yeah, San Diego State's a great team this year, but still, I mean, not exactly what you want. Cal wasn't terrible. I mean, they beat SMU. I'll give them a low B tier. They did fire what's his face? Jason Eck, I think it is. No, Jason isn't Jason Eck the coach in New Mexico? Yeah, he's the coach in New Mexico. So I think that's who I projected to go there. My bad. Cal coach fired Justin Wilcox. Yeah, kind of similar names, we'll say. Someone's has a role acting defensive coordinator. Bruh. Central Michigan was okay this year. They got blown out in their bowl game by Northwestern. Yeah. I'm going way back. Hold on. But I mean, they were decent this year. They were 7-6. They had a chance at the MAC. I'm pretty sure no, they were not. I think they were within potential making the MAC championships. Yeah. I will put them in C. I'll put them above Arkansas State. Charlotte was terrible this year. I'll give them F tier. One game all year. You get Tim Alvin as your coach, somehow you get even worse. Tim Alvin did great at Ohio. It's just Charlotte's not a very good team. Cincinnati, they definitely had a great start to their season, but then they kind of fell off as the season went on. I'll still put them in B tier. I'll put them a low B tier. Clemson was a huge letdown this year. Some people had them in the national championship, and yet they completely fell off a cliff. I'll put them in C tier. Not very good for their standards. Coastal Carolina, they took that game against us Tech. They weren't great this year. They weren't the worst, but their offense was just invisible at points. So yeah, I'll probably put them in C tier still. At least they made a bowl game. Yeah, they definitely got better as the season went along. They're definitely like up and down all season. But yeah. Colorado's not very good this year. I'll put them. They won like one Big 12 game. I think I'm pretty sure they went 3-9. I'll put them in D tier. Yeah, one Big 12 win. It was against Iowa State. Yeah, I'll put them in D tier. They were not very good this year. I'll put them below Bowling Green just because why not? Colorado State. Colorado State was not very good this year. They fired Jay Norvell, which is Jay Norvell related to Mike? Is Jay Norvell? What's Mike Norvell? No, they are not. That actually surprises me. Jay Norvell. What was his? They were 3-9. No, they were 2-10. They're even worse than I thought. I think their one win came against one big. Their one in conference came against Fresno State of all teams. And they beat them up too. And their other win came against Northern Colorado in a very close game. So yeah, they didn't play terribly against Washington. It was weird, but yeah. But Colorado State was not very good this year. F tier, up and below Boston College. Delaware is Delaware. I mean, they actually did decent in their first season. I believe they won their bowl game. I'm pretty sure. Delaware versus Louisiana, and they made a bowl game this year because they had open slots. Delaware versus, and their biggest win for this year came against UConn. That was a very impressive win. I know UConn dies in overtime, but still, very impressive. They beat a very good UConn team. Who beat the ACC champions, by the way, and they also beat Boston College. Yeah, they beat Louisiana 20-13. So, yeah, but they're actually a decent team this year. I'll put them in C tier. I'll probably put them above. I'll put them above Central Michigan. So I'll say the MAC was probably the worst conference this year, in my opinion. Duke was actually a weird team. I mean, they were pretty good in conference. That's why they made the ACC championship in a tiebreaker. They actually won the ACC, and they were playing in the Tony Tiger Bowl, the Sun Bowl against Arizona State. So Duke, I mean, they won the ACC, and I'll give them credit for that. They were, and they lost to some weird teams, but like they lost to UConn, Tulane, and Illinois. They also lost to Wake Forest and Virginia. They ended up beating Virginia. Pretty sure it's Wake Forest they lost to. No, it wasn't Wake Forest because they beat them. It wasn't Wake Forest because Wake Forest is the reason why they're in the championship. Oh, it's Georgia Tech. I'm pretty sure. No, not basketball. Although I see where you're coming from. And Duke's obviously a basketball school, so they finally win the ACC in football. So yeah, but I mean, they did good enough in conference that they made the ACC championship and they won the ACC over Virginia. So, yeah, it was Georgia Tech. They lost by 9 points. So, yeah, there's that. But they're conference champions. Yeah, whatever. They're a 5-loss team, but still, I gotta give some respect. Gotta give them some respect for that. Still, as bad as they were out of conference, they were actually pretty good in conference. Eastern Carolina, they were actually a good team this year. I mean, they beat Pittsburgh in their last game. And Pitt was actually a decent team this year. Pitt's a weird team, but yeah. The Eastern Carolina was actually a good team. Like, that team's gotten so much better under the new coach. I forgot his name. It was, what's Blake Harrell, pretty sure his name? ECU coach. Blake Harrell, yeah, he's what a turnaround he has at ECU. Because I remember they fired their coach in the middle of last year, and Blake Hurl turned him around, got him actually a 7-5 record. Now they got a 9-4 record, and they beat actually 8-5 record because they beat NC State in their bowl game last year. They did even better this year, 9-4. And sorry, if y'all see I have a new haircut, yeah, it's just kind of bothering me sometimes. I love the haircut, but my hair kind of bothers me in my face sometimes. Like they beat Pitt in their last game. So they've been a great team this year. I'll put them in the B tier. Yeah. Eastern Michigan. I mean, they weren't that good this year. Let's be completely real. Like they lost to Long Island University earlier this season. It's like, yeah, that's not a great sign at all. Uh, I think they went like 4-8. Yeah, not very good. Uh, and they almost beat Buffalo. Yeah, but there's that. Let's see. Yeah, they started off. I mean, they lost. They actually ended the season winning 2 of their last 3 games, but still, I mean, it's not been a great season. What the heck is this ad, bro? Someone's getting rain on. What the frick? Yeah, but let's see. Eastern Michigan though they were not great. I mean, I'll put them in D tier. FIU is actually a decent team this year. I know they lost their bowl game. They're actually a decent team this year. Like they definitely a big turnaround from last year. I'll put them. Did they lose to Delaware? Hold on. Did they play Delaware at all? Actually, they FIU lost to Delaware. Okay, fair enough. I'll put them below Delaware just for that. Wait, so there's that. They're actually what a turnaround for them this year. Definitely a lot better than they were last year. So yeah, FAU on the other hand, I mean it's FAU. They're not that good usually. I mean, they had some hope this year, and I know Tom Herman's their coach, who used to coach Texas. But I mean, I think they went like 4-8. I mean, that team. I remember Lane Kiffin used to be there at one point. Yeah, that team's not great. I mean, their wins can get Tulane, UAB, Rice, and Florida, and that those aren't very good teams. Let's win's a win, but yeah, I'll put them in. I'll put them E tier. I'll put them both above Eastern Michigan because at least they're lose an FCS team. Yeah, here's that. Florida, on the other hand, what a disappointing season for them. They definitely fell off a cliff from last year. Or in the last years, they completely just fell off. Like they had hope to set the season, and Billy Napier got fired. They hired John Summerall as their next coach, yeah, but that's definitely not a very good season for them. They ended the season maybe Florida State, but yeah. I'll put them in D tier. They lost to South Florida, so yeah, wasn't great. Florida State, on the other hand, definitely disappointing after what looked like a promising season. Start off, and I mean they beat Alabama, but that was their only good win all year. They lost a bunch of games after that. I will put them in C tier. I'll give them the Alabama win at least. I'll put them over here just because they beat Alabama still. It'd be week 4. So it was better last year, don't get me wrong. Still not very good, yeah. Fresno State, on the other hand, Fresno State, I mean, mm, yeah. But Fresno State, they're pretty good this year. A lot better than last year, we'll say. But I mean, let's see. Yeah, but they're 9-4 this year. They won the Snoop Dogg Bowl. That was a fun bowl game, bro. Well, the game itself wasn't great, but I mean, Snoop Dogg conducting the bands is amazing. They're actually a decent team this year. I'll give them a B tier. Did they actually beat San Diego State or Hawaii? They lost San Diego State, but they scored. They allowed less points against San Diego State than Cal did, so I'll put them above Cal still. Maybe Hawaii. So yeah. Georgia, on the other hand, Georgia's been really good. Well, lost Alabama, they won the SEC. What else can I say? S tier. Georgia Southern. I mean, they're okay this year. They ended the season on a high note by beating App State again. So yeah, I'll put them. I'll put them in C tier. Georgia State, on the other hand, Georgia State, they were terrible. F tier. I mean, they won like one game all year. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, Georgia Tech was actually a pretty good team this year. They ended with a loss, but I'll give them A tier still. I'll probably put them below Arizona, but yeah. Hawaii's actually pretty good this year. Ended the season with a win against they beat 2 Power 4 teams in Cal and Stanford. So I'll put them above Cal and B tier because I believe they lost at Fresno State. Yeah, there's that. Houston, Houston was actually a very good team this year. I mean, we lost to Houston in the season. I'm an LSU fan, by the way. I don't know that. But we lost to Houston earlier this season. Or wait, not earlier this season, just a few days ago. Yeah, they've been a great team this year. What a turnaround this year from 4 wins to 10. I mean, they've been great this year. I mean, their their team. Sorry, I picked my nose. Yeah, their team definitely did very good this year. A lot better than they were last year. It's been a big turnaround from last year. Yeah. Overall, though, I give them an A tier. They were much better than they were last year. And they actually beat Arizona. Yeah. So we're seeing whether to rank them above. Yeah. Here's that. Here's let's see. Illinois. I mean, they just won the the music table. They're definitely a good team this year. Mm. Uh, I mean, I know they had some weird losses this year, but they're still a good team. I mean, they've been good last few years. Brett Bloom was a good coach. I'll give them a B tier because they beat Duke. I will say that. Yeah, there's that. Let's see. Indiana, Indiana, man, they're the best team in the country. S tier all the way. They're number one. I was a pretty good team this year. I mean, they're usually like 8-4 every year. So overall, I'd give them a B tier. I'll put them above Duke still. Yeah, there's that. Iowa State, on the other hand, Iowa State's been they were a weird team this year. They had 4 game losing streak, but then they ended the season on a high note. So I know they lost Matt Campbell and on some other people like Brock Opek, but yeah. Well, I'll still give them a B tier. I'll put them below Arizona State just because I lost them. Yeah, Jacksonville State, on the other hand, Jacksonville State is actually a pretty good team this year as well. They definitely like show like they still got it even after Rich Rod left them. So did they win their bowl game? I'm pretty sure they won their bowl game. So yeah. Um, let's see. Uh, let's see. So I try to get this thing. Yeah. By the way, for those, if there's actually anyone in the chat right now, the chat is not working. Like I'll literally show y'all right now. So I cannot view it. So if y'all are chatting, I'm very sorry because I know there's 2 people watching right now. But here, I'll literally prove it to y'all. Oh, frick. That's what it says on my screen. So yeah, but there's that. But anyways, there's that. Yeah, Jacksonville State, though, I will give them. Did they win that ball game? Yes, they beat Troy. I'll give them a B tier. They're definitely a good team this year. Almost beat UCF. I'll give them credit for that. I'll put them in front of Fresno. Yeah. JMU, they're definitely a very good team this year. Made the playoffs and all. So that's great. I'll put them in A tier. Kansas was definitely like this year. I'll put them in C tier. I mean, they're 5-7 again. I mean, although not there weren't as many close games this time for them. So yeah. Um, did they lose to Baylor? They did not play Baylor. Okay, fair enough. K-State was a weird team this year. I mean, they lost to Army, but then they beat some decent teams. They had some weird games this year. I'll put them. They lost to Army, so I'll put them below Army for that. So I'll put them C tier. Kansas State was a great team this year. Won their conference. Yeah, I'll give them credit for that. They got blown out in their bowl game, but I mean, hey, they did great this year. I'll put them in B tier. Much better than they were last year, and that was a huge turnaround. If anything, yeah. Kent State, on the other hand, Kent State was actually a much better team this year. They weren't great, but like they're definitely much better. I'll put them in. I'll put them in D tier. So I'll put them above Akron. Kentucky was not great this year. They're 5-7 this year. I'll put them in C tier. They beat Auburn, so I'll put them above Auburn. Liberty, on the other hand, Liberty definitely fell off this year. Not gonna lie. I'll put them in D tier. Probably put them right here. Louisiana, on the other hand, Louisiana, they weren't great this year. They're 6-7. Yeah, I'll put them in C tier. Did they beat Coastal? Where are they? Oh, they even play Coastal. Okay, fair enough. La Tech. They're actually a decent team this year. I will put them in C tier. I'll put them above Army. They actually didn't do. They actually played Detroit LSU decently. Yeah. Louisville, I'll give them B tier. They're pretty good. They lost to Cal, but they're still a decent team. They went 8-5 or 9-4 this year, I think. Let's see. Actually, I'll put them above Cal and all. I mean, they beat Miami. I'll put them over here. LSU was a huge letdown this year. Ranked number 3 at one point, and then they completely fell off a cliff because their offense was never good. I'll put them in C tier. I'll put them above Clemson because they beat them. Yeah. Marshall, they weren't great this year. 5-7 isn't great. I'll put them in D tier. Maryland definitely fell off after a while. I'll put them in D tier as well. Hold on, my mom's calling. My mom invited me to watch Amazing Race with them. So I'm gonna. That's what I did for this first part of the video. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Have a nice day. Goodbye. See you next one. Peace.